Right, so we're on to part two of this video series of looking at how the Poisson distribution model pack predicted the results from the weekend, 2 weekends ago. So we've already looked at the win, draw, win markets and how we got on there. And I alluded to in that video that there was more hidden, which I've now expanded. And now we're going to look at how the correct scores, Dutchin, worked, and also just the straight correct score market. So this was a lot more complicated to figure out, to be honest, because I hadn't recorded the odds for every single scoreline for every single game before they were played, because that would be massively long, and yeah, I wasn't planning on betting on them. But then when I wanted to make this video, I realised that I needed those odds, so I went to Odds Portal, got the odds for the correct score bets and filled them in where needed, so that we've got accurate data. And yeah, it took a long time, obviously, to get all the correct scores. So let me just talk through what I've done. So firstly, I wanted to look at how we got on with betting on the 5 correct scores, basically, like the Dutchin. So it gives you 5 scores, ignore the colours for now. It gives you 5 scores, the percentages, you put the odds in, and it tells you if you put £5 on, you make £6.44 equal profit, and so on and so forth. So wanted to do that first, ignore this value column for now. So we do that and we see we didn't get any of these coming because this was 2-3, so nothing there. This one was 0-1, so we were in green there, so we've got that coming. So the green ones are where they came in, and the yellow ones are where we'll look at in a minute with the value bets. So the green ones came in, and we've done that all the way through. And so let's have a look at the results. So if we look at Dutchin all scores, which is here, so we look at Dutchin all scores, we can see that in the Premier League, 4 games, 20 bets, because we're saying there's 5 bets per game. So it's always going to be, as you can see, the amount of games played times 5, which is going to give us how many individual bets. We've kept our stake at £5, so it's basically £1 on each bet, if you like, on each scoreline. But because of Dutchin, we're putting different amounts on for each scoreline to make sure we get an equal profit. But the overall stake is always going to be £5. So this column is always going to be the amount of games times 5, because we're putting 5 bets on. This is how many times it came in. So there were 2 out of 4 came in for the Premier League. The returns, so that returned £6.33, and the level stakes profit is going to be the profit take away the amount of bets that we actually place. So we're actually in a negative there for the Premier League for those 2 bets, because we placed 20 bets, only 2 games came in. 2 games came in and it was minus 3.67. It was a little bit tricky to do this, and I went about it probably in quite a long way to add more work for myself. But basically, just to explain what this looks like, so the 2 wins returned £6.33 together, so that's £2.49 plus £3.84, and that's profit. Those figures are profit. So then we've also got to add on the £5 stakes that we added, because we're getting those back as well, obviously, because that's the profit. So that's £10 altogether, isn't it, the 2 games? So we've got the returns are £6.33, and to find out the level stakes profit over the 4 matches, we've done the returns minus the bets plus the £10 to make sure we've got the stake added back on, because that was only profit. So trust me, it works. It's just I'm crap at explaining it and crap at doing formulas. So there we can see what we've done. So we can see that there's been some pretty, there's a lot of bets, aren't there? 5 per game, that's a lot of bets. There's been some pretty poor ones, League 2, but then you look at the Belgian Pro League, which was good last week, I think, for both outcomes. But let's have a look. So the Belgian Pro League, you can see we've got a nice lot of correct scores in there. And if we go down to what we're really interested in, if you'd have bet £5 on each Dutchin outcome last week or the week before, you'd have ended up losing 0.46 points. So it wouldn't have been profitable. Too many bets, without filtering the games out, too many bets, and it's not profitable. It's only just not profitable, but it's still not profitable. So what I wanted to do, which added even more complexity to it, was look at Dutchin the winner only. So this is where we see the other colours. Now what I mean by this is, let's pick a different league, shall we? League 2, why not? If you've got the Dutchin, if you've got the value bet saying that we're going to have 1.77, not the value bet, we don't worry about the value bet, the winning team is 1.37 and the away team is 15.48, we're only going to bet on who we predicted to win. This one's not a good example because they're all predicted for that. So let's have a look at one where we're doing differently. Okay, what about this one? So down here we're saying that we think Forest Green are going to win this game. We think they're going to win. We're trusting the value. If we trust what this model is saying, we trust that we think Forest Green are going to win, we're not going to bother betting on 1-1 because we think Forest Green are going to win, so why are we betting on a draw? So we're only betting on 4 bets there, and when it comes in, we're making a better profit because we're betting on £1 less. And this is, don't want to open news, do I? God, that's the last thing you want to do at the moment. So it's common throughout the leagues, and you can really trim down on the amount of bets you're placing then. This is a great example, Angers versus Brest. We've got Angers to win, so we're not betting on 1-1, 0-0 or 0-1 to Brest. We're only betting on these 2 win results, and then when it comes in, you're making a much better profit. So you're cutting down the amount of bets that you're placing by trusting the system in the first place. So if we look at the results from those, it's much more interesting. You can see for a start, the bets, it's not the amount times 5, it's a lot less than that. So if we look down, 424 bets compared to 840 bets. Yes, there are less games because there isn't value in all of them, but 424 compared to 840 is a massive reduction. So already you're placing less money on it, which is always a bonus. Less exposure. 48 wins. It's actually a similar win percentage to this one in terms of the games. So, but this is how many games have won rather than the individual bets, obviously. But then if you look at the profit, we're looking at 25.72 points profit compared to minus 0.46. That's obviously like 26 points different, and it's definitely a profitable way of going about it. Some of them are huge as well. Some of the wins, which is just testament to the model itself, really. We had some really big ones. I think it was in the Netherlands where we got a really big correct score. Really a long odds one. Was it Netherlands? Oh, I don't know. There was one that was at 20s or something anyway that came in. For God's sake, I keep pressing the wrong things. It might have been the Eerste Division. This is dead air, and anyway, you can see what I'm doing now. I've gone through and made everyone yellow and green. The green ones with the red writing are ones where we would have won if we'd have done the original 5 bets. So 1-1 that came in, but because we decided to only bet on the team that was predicted to win, we didn't place that bet in the end, so we actually lost. So you do lose some of them, as you can see. There's quite a few that you lose. This one is where both of them came in, so it came in at 0-1. It was predicted anyway in the original 5, and it also was one of our bets. But there are a number where you will miss out on them because you're not spreading your risk, if you like. You're not giving yourself that chance of getting it wrong and still winning, which is what the 5 scores does. Like this one, 2-2 would have won if you'd have put all 5 on, but we only put 2 on. We only put 1 on, sorry, we only put on 2-1 because we thought they were going to win. So there you go, or we thought there was value. So I thought that was interesting. I think that's interesting to look at. If you then look at the correct score, if you just placed a bet on the one correct score, so the top score with the highest percentage, which is always the top one here, if you just place that bet, 43.1 points of level profit. Now, that's amazing, isn't it? So you've got some really big ones, and then you've obviously got a few losses. I think the Spain, in this one, what was it, La Liga, none of the correct scores came in on that one, so you've lost £10 because there were 10 games, no correct scores. I'm only putting £1 or 1 stat point on each one. But then you can see you're making it back here with 11, 13, 50, 11, 20, 12, 70. So that's just by putting on the correct score for every single match. So that's an interesting take on it as well. In this column here, we've looked at what you would get if you had the total of column E plus I, which is if you had every single win. So going back to the first video, where the odds suggest a team is going to win, so it doesn't have to be value, but it suggests they're going to win, and then you touch every single score as well, so not just the scores that you think are going to win, you get 29.71 points profit, so still a profit. But then if you do the opposite, well, not the opposite, but the other version of only doing value wins and only Dutching the scores of the value win, then you end up with £114.24 profit. So you can just see how putting a bit of effort into filtering out the scores and the results that the system is intuitively telling you not to bet on, you limit your exposure because you're not staking as much, and you're drilling down into the accuracy, because if the system is saying it thinks that Granada are going to win, why are you then betting on Alaves to win in your correct score Dutching? It doesn't make sense, does it? So I think that's an interesting way to look at it. I don't want you all going out and just betting on everything that says that it's value, or everything that says every correct score, for example. This is just one way of looking at it a little bit differently and putting a bit more thought into the process, and rapidly massively increasing your returns. So I hope you found that useful. I'll be with you again soon.